Sometimes in backcountry skiing, we're gonna go up and then we're gonna go down. And then we're gonna go back up again and then we're gonna go down again. And then back up and then back down. Maybe one more time up and then down again. And by then I'm usually done and I'm going home. Hey, Dan here with Pine Mountain Sports. This is BC101. We're gonna talk about backcountry skiing. So we love doing these clinics. It's a great way to let people know what options are out there and also what kind of gear that they're gonna need. AT stands for Alpine Touring. So like an Alpine setup, you can lock the heel down, ski down the hill, but an AT setup will give you the ability to free the heel so you can tour, kind of like a huge cross-country setup. So AT skis, like I said, it's very similar to an Alpine setup. It uses a hard shell plastic boot, regular type of ski, but the big differences are two things. One, it has a binding that has the ability to free the heel, so you can tour on it just like a big cross-country ski. And then on the bottom of the ski, you're actually gonna apply a skin. That skin's made of a directional nylon material that allows you to glide down a hill, but also allows you to climb up a hill. So you'll take those skins, you'll put them on those skis to get up the hill. You get to the top, you rip them off, you put them back in your pack, you ski down the hill. It's super fun, it's a big workout, but it's a great way to get out there and enjoy some skiing. Tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about the different types of gear, the different things that you can do with them, a little bit about clothing, and some of the other things you'll need when you're out there in the backcountry. So what we're going to talk about first is just some lightweight backcountry touring gear. With most modern day backcountry skis like these, you're going to find that it's got a really smooth surface on the tip and the tail, but then it also uses a crown or a fishscale pattern underneath the foot. This is the part that you engage into the snow that allows you to either get along on the flats or even do a little bit of non-aggressive climbing. As you move up into wider skis, you'll find that that area actually gets to be longer and longer underneath the foot and also wider. So now with a ski like this, you can start climbing a little bit more aggressively than you can with a traditional cross-country ski. For those of us who want something a little more or a dedicated out-of-track ski setup, and maybe we want to crank some turns, that's really where a setup like this comes in. So with a 3-pin boot, what you're going to find is a lot more control and a lot more stability over traditional step-in binding. You'll notice that it's got 3 pins right at the toe of the boot, and when you match it with a traditional 3-pin binding like this one, what it does, it gives you a lot more engagement and it gives you the ability to tour, but also gives you the ability to start making some turns as well. It's got a lockable toe jaw, so it's able to clamp down on the toe of the boot. If you get to the really steep stuff, that's where we're gonna be skiing AT skis. So these skis traditionally won't have any fish scale or crown underneath them, and you're gonna put a skin right onto this one. So as you're making your move, moving from a 3-pin setup, doing some non-aggressive descending, and you're getting ready to step up and head into that next level, that's really where we're going to get into AT skiing. So an AT boot, full plastic, a lot stiffer, uses a traditional AT binding that clips in at the toe and at the heel of the boot. And now you're getting into that alpine quality descending, but still having the ability to tour like a traditional Nordic boot would. So the great thing about lightweight AT boots is, one, weight-wise, these probably weigh half of what an alpine boot does. Also with the really lightweight boots, you'll find a lot of flexing in the walk mode. So it'll give you a lot of flexion front, a lot of flexion back, and then when you're ready to descend, it's got a little lock mode. You lock it in, takes that walkability out, stiffens up the cuff, now we're descending. So boots like the one I just showed you, they require a tech binding. And tech bindings have 2 little pins up front and 2 little posts in the back that engage the boot. And having this setup, it'll ski downhill just fine, but it also gives you the versatility to tour without a huge weight penalty. Some AT bindings are a little bit beefier. This one happens to be really weight oriented, keeps your setup super light for really efficient touring. That's your ski brake right there. We're gonna keep things light. We're gonna use a little leash. When you move up into that next step of binding, you find things like bigger levers, easier engagement. Also a ski brake comes into play here. So now no reason for a leash because you've got the brake. You'll also find some bindings that are hybrid like this one. And this one uses a tech toe with a traditional alpine jaw. So no need to have the inserts in the back. Gives a lot more ski ability, but you're also going to pay a weight penalty here. Still tours really well, has 1 step of climbing modes, 2 steps of climbing modes, has the tech toe up front, but with that heel jaw, you're going to get a little bit more weight, but you're going to get a lot more performance out of this when it comes to the downhill. So with the traditional tech binding, you're simply going to step the toe in, line up the holes, lock it down. Now you're in ski mode. We got to go tour, we're going to put it into walk mode. And then with this binding, we're actually going to take the back of the binding. We're going to pull this lever up and slide the binding underneath the boot. We're going to step it down, lock it right in. Now, we're skiing down a hill. Then when it comes time to disengage, we got to tour again. We're going to take that lever. We're going to disengage the boot. Now we're touring again. And then we're ready to step out of our binding. We're simply going to take that front lever, push it all the way down to the ski, and step right out. So with the heel lifters, you've got two different levels. So when you start doing slight ascents, you'll flip this one down. That'll give you that ability to handle the not so aggressive stuff. But when you're getting into that steeper terrain, that's really where the higher ones are going to come into play. And all AT bindings will have these, just have a little bit different versions of them. So there's your really tall one on the Tecton, there's your mellow one, there's your flat. So now if you're looking for a lot more downhill performance or want a boot that can both ski on the hill and in the backcountry, that's really where we get into a little bit beefier AT boot like this one. You'll still find the Tech Fit in the toe, Tech Fit in the heel, but these will also work in a traditional Alpine binding. They'll also work in all AT bindings. So a lot more versatile than the lighter weight ones and a lot stiffer with a lot more drive, but you're gonna pay a weight penalty to get there. AT bindings don't have what you would call a din setting. They have a tension setting. So there is a tension in the front. There is also a tension in the rear. So just like an Alpine setup, you've got the ability to make these easy to release or difficult to release, depending on your level of skiing and how precautionary you want to be. Unlike most Alpine boots, AT boots won't have that smooth surface right underneath the ball of the foot. That's what allows a boot to be DIN certified. But when you go to AT boots, what you'll find is a much more friendly walkable sole. It's got a little bit of rocker to it, so it actually helps you walk, gives you a pretty good gait, but a lot more versatile. You want to do some mountaineering, you got to use an AT binding, you want to use an Alpine binding. Most of the stiffer, bigger AT boots will actually work in all types of bindings. Skins are a really important part of your backcountry day because they're the things that allow you to go up. They're also the things that allow you to go home. So the one thing I always tell people is love your skins, take good care of them. There's lots of different brands out there and lots of different versions of them. We really focus on two brands. Black Diamond Nylon Ascension skins, overall just a great skin for all conditions. And then we also stock Minimus from G3. These are built to be a little bit lighter weight, and where they still climb and tour really well. The nice thing about them is they're really compact inside of your pack or inside your jacket. They're really thin and lightweight. So these are my personal skins. I'll use these probably 30, 40 days a year, but they come in a nice bag. I usually store them together in the pair. And then once I take them apart, you'll see that each skin is actually stuck to itself. So all skins are going to be made of a directional nylon or mohair material. It'll allow you to glide, but then it'll also, going the other way, it'll give you some grip and allow you to climb. So when you're ready to apply your skins onto your ski, you're simply going to take the skin, pull it away from itself, hook the tip loop right onto the tip of the ski. We're going to run that skin all the way down to the bottom. Once we get it down to the bottom, we're going to take the tail clip, throw it right over the back, lock it in, you're good to go. When you get to the top of the hill, that's when the fun begins. One, you got to reach back into the back of the ski, take the skin, rip it off. And then from there, you're going to take the skin, simply line up the tip and the tail again, put the glue together, fold it up, stick it in your jacket or your pack. So when you're skiing down the hill, you got two choices. You can either put your skins inside your jacket to keep them warm, or you can throw them in your pack. I think both ways work just fine, but lately I've been putting mine in my packs because I don't like putting a bunch of skins underneath my jacket anymore.
Oh, trying to make yourself look skinnier?
Yeah. So when the glue starts to wear out on your skin, you can actually remove that middle ribbon, and that'll expose some fresh glue underneath, give your skins a little bit more tackiness, and your skins a little more life. Also, when you get home, take them out of your pack, lay them out, get them dry, fold the glue up all nice and evenly, put them right back in the storage bag so the next trip you're ready to go. So with backcountry poles, the first thing you'll notice, they're usually telescoping. They have the ability to adjust. They'll also not only have the regular grip, but also usually grip just below it for when you're traversing or side hilling. The great thing about this is that if I want to use this pole for traditional skiing or I'm going downhill, I'll kind of put it that traditional 90-degree forearm length. But then when I want to tour, I'll actually bring it up just right underneath my armpit or right about armpit height, so that when I'm touring, I can stay a little more upright, use my upper body to keep myself up and keep myself going. More and more so, we're seeing more people actually using their AT and their tele setups that are designed for backcountry for skiing on the lifts as well. It seems to work just fine, and overall it gives you a lot more versatility as far as where you can use that gear. So when we're heading out of the backcountry, obviously on top of our equipment that gets us down and up the hills, we've also got to think about what's going to get us through our day. This is my backcountry pack. I'm going to walk you guys through it, show you guys the ins and outs and all the little things that I take with me every day I go backcountry skiing. The backcountry, the big thing you got to think about obviously is safety. And that's really going to start with 3 key components: your transceiver, your shovel, your probe. Rule is, anytime you're heading out of the backcountry, these 3 things are a must. First thing, your transceiver. You always want to make sure that it's functioning. Also, always check the batteries. Make sure that they've got at least 2/3 power, if not full. If you're down to 1/3, pitch them. From there, I'll move into a shovel. I like collapsible shovel handles, easy to fit in the pack, easy to get out of the pack and extend so you can shovel real quickly. The third thing of your backcountry pack, you gotta make sure you have it with you. It's your probe. They're usually quite easy to extend, lock into place. This one I really like. It's lightweight, it's carbon. It also has measurements on the probe all the way down, so it's easy to keep an idea on snow depth. So these 3 items, these are those key ones to make sure that you've got in your pack all the time. Anytime you're heading out of the backcountry, these are expected. I always carry a Mylar blanket, couple binding small parts. Baseball cap's great for a little bit of sun, wind protection. Down jacket. Cannot emphasize how important it is to bring a layer with you to make sure you're staying warm. Additionally, there's a little bit of glob stopper here. This is designed to make sure that your skins don't clump up snow. 2 gloves, lighter weight one for touring, heavier weight one for descending. Some sunscreen. I really like Dermatone. Neck gaiter, sunglasses, goggles, a little inflatable seat. It's kind of a little creature comfort out there, but I like carrying one with me. Also, I use a hydration reservoir and a hose, so that way I've got water right over my shoulder. A lot of folks will bring a water bottle, it works just fine. You just gotta take your pack off to get to it. Additionally, on my pack, I like making sure I can carry my helmet on my pack. It's not flopping around, it's stored in there very nicely. These are the items that I keep in my pack every day. Hopefully it steers you in the right direction as far as some things you should bring for yourself. So when you're backcountry touring, you're gonna dress a lot differently than you would as if you were on the hill. You're gonna find yourself generating a lot more heat, and being able to regulate your temperature is really gonna help you out there. There really isn't a specific thing as a backcountry helmet. There'll be lighter weight helmets, heavier weight helmets, but more importantly, buy the helmet that fits you best. The biggest things that I look for though, venting. On-the-fly venting is a big thing. So the ability to open up some vents, whether you're descending and you're still warm, or if you're climbing with your helmet on. Snow, sometimes sleet, sometimes rain, sometimes snow crust, variable conditions, icy, cruddy, little frozen baby heads everywhere. Whatever it might be, you're probably gonna find it in the backcountry. And unlike a resort, there's nobody there to prepare it for you. So you've got to make sure that you know how to handle and be prepared for all of these different things that may come your way. And most importantly, check the weather, check the local avalanche centers, make sure that you know what you're getting into before you head out there. All right, so when you're skiing in the backcountry, you're definitely gonna find yourself dressing differently than you would as if you were on the resort. The big thing to keep in mind, generally speaking, staying warm is not gonna be an issue. You're gonna be generating a lot of heat out there. And what we're doing right now is we're looking at 2 different types of shells. The soft shell, highly wind resistant, highly water resistant, super compressible, really breathable. And then there's also traditional hard shells. Days where you're getting a lot of wind, some rain, some snow, that's where you're gonna want those hard shells. Waterproof, breathable, keeping you dry all day. So when we're talking about gloves, I gotta admit, I usually take 2 pairs of gloves for me on a backcountry ski day. One, a really lightweight glove like this one. This is the Tour Light glove from the folks at Orderbox. Incredibly breathable, super lightweight, but this is a glove that I'm gonna use when I'm touring flat or when I'm ascending. I'm gonna be generating a lot of heat. You'll be surprised how sweaty your hands get. So I usually go with a really lightweight glove for something like this. Then when I get to the top and I'm ready to descend, I'll actually switch out to a little bit heavier glove. One keeps my hand warmer, a little more protection, but it also gives my lighter weight gloves a few moments just to dry out, get themselves a little more comfortable for the next time up. And then for the folks that really run cold, they get to go to a full-on resort style glove, something with a lot more insulation. Maybe it's waterproof and breathable, full leather palm, really durable. But now you got a glove that you can use both in the backcountry and on the lifts. The other thing I would always tell you that's really important is who you're going with. Make sure that you're going with folks that you trust, that understand what your expectations are for the day, and that their expectations and your expectations are in line with one another. It's a great way to make sure the group's having fun while everybody's out there enjoying themselves. Hey, be sure to check out Central Oregon Avalanche Center's Know Before You Go series. And for those Avi Level 1 courses, be sure to check out the folks over at Three Sisters Backcountry, CUCC, and also the folks at Oregon Ski Guides. All right, hey, so that'll wrap up our BC 101. If you have any other questions, anything else that we can help you out with, feel free to come to the store, ask our staff. We'll be more than happy to help you out. We really appreciate you all hanging out tonight. We look forward to seeing you out there. Have yourself a great time in the backcountry this season. Hey, how many teleskiers does it take to change a light bulb? Takes 5. 1 to screw it in, and 4 to say, nice turns, bro!